Yes, pick him up, tell him, Anna.
It's take a walk, wasn't it? That's what I heard.
Does it say that? Take a walk.
Take a walk.
Nice. That was Shackles, Praise You by Mary Mary. You tuned in right now to the best drive time show in the country. Yellow Home,
yep.
Big Haas and Anna Schofield. Shout out to all our brothers and sisters on radio as well. We feel you. We're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Right on, darling.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah. We are all in it.
We all won.
Yeah.
No, seriously, on a serious note.
I agree.
Shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
We're all doing it one, and it's a beautiful space to be in. Just a random thought. Remind me to tell you something off air.
Okay. I love that you're telling me that on it.
Yeah.
And we can't share it?
Trying to tease the people a little bit.
Okay. Tease away. Yeah. Okay.
Tease away. Okay, let's talk about Prince Harry and Meghan.
Okay, so podcast, basically. Harry and Meghan are doing a podcast for a new Spotify venture. They already have come out and said they're going to be directing things for Netflix and they're going to be producers of programming for Netflix. But more than that, they're now doing their own podcast. Now, they're starting with the festive sort of season. So they're going to do one in the next couple of weeks. They've got a trailer out, which is really funny.
I want to see if we can play that.
Yeah, play the trailer because
it's on Spotify.
They've taken some outtakes out and made it funny.
Okay.
Should we start?
Oh, that is
Ladies first?
No, say it, because I think it sounds really nice with your accent.
What, Archwell Audio?
Yeah.
Archwell Audio.
I mean...
Really?
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Hi, guys. I'm Harry.
And I'm Meghan.
proper.
Yeah.
One of the things my husband and I have always talked about is our passion for meeting people and hearing their stories. And no matter what the story, they usually offer you an understanding of where someone else is coming from. And at the same time, remind you in some way of a story about yourself.
And that's what this project is all about.
Wow.
To bring forward different perspectives and voices that perhaps you haven't heard before.
Isn't that cool?
They're super cool, and there's some outtakes
proper
at the
audio,
end.
of course, and stuff like that. That's
She
real
turns
nice.
around to him at the end and says, "Oh my goodness, you've got a podcast voice," because he does a bit of a Mickey take.
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, apparently it's called Archwell Audio. I don't know
That's the company. So they have a foundation called the Archwell Trust or something along those lines. Don't quote me. And so they've set up sort of a company, and they've done it through Archwell thingy. So that's what they've done, and they're going to. I mean, it's wonderful for Meghan.
Really
She's in her element.
Very, very exciting. Obviously, it's set to bring forward different perspectives and voices that perhaps you haven't heard before, and find the common ground. And Meghan said we're talking to some amazing people. They're going to share their memories that have really helped shape this past year, which has been, as we know, a very difficult one for everyone.
Yep.
Which is really amazing. Prince Harry said that so many people have been through so much pain this year, experiencing loss, a huge amount of uncertainty, but it feels worth acknowledging that 2020 has connected us in ways we could have never imagined through endless acts of compassion and kindness. And this is what Omar Kamal said. This is what DJ Chef Coates said when we interviewed him in the National Day period. A lot of people are taking it that way.
Yeah.
It's really connected a lot of people that never spoke to each other because
it has, hasn't it? And also the small things matter. People are much more also willing to speak to a wider audience. A friend of mine who is this big corporate kind of trainer and speaker, and not motivational speaker, but he definitely what's the word when you take someone? He mentors people, young business people. In particular, he likes to do mentor Arabic people, and he's got very Western kind of corporate background. Anyway, he was talking about it, and he said at the moment you can literally speak to anyone. If you DM them and say, "Can I have a few minutes of your time? I want to talk to you about XYZ," because people have slowed down because of the sort of the climate we're in. He said, "I'm accessing everyone.
Truth.
You can get to them, so try."
Yeah, I'm just reading this. I don't know if you know about this. So they're apparently going to be stepping back as senior royals. Did you talk about this?
Yeah, but we've already done that.
Did we? I didn't know they're going to step back as senior royals.
Yeah, they're not allowed to be senior royals.
No. They will step back as senior royals and work to become financially, obviously, independent.
Yeah, that was part of the package when they left. They were told, look, if you go properly. It's not. We're not going to support you.
So no, I was under the impression that he's Prince Harry. He's no longer Prince.
That's why
Harry.
he was stripped of his title.
Even him, there's no prince.
There's no money, there's no financing. They went out on their own to do this. They're going to be financially self-sufficient. They won't even pay for their security.
I'm the Dumbo.
Yeah.
at least but no one can take the prince out of him. Like, I don't know.
Look, he's still a prince, but
Yeah.
he's born from our future king. He's the son of the future king. He is a prince, but he's decided to opt out. So no, they're not senior royals.
Wow.
They're allowed to be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah.
That's the title they can keep.
And now they're in
Honorary title.
California. Not
and they're not in Canada, where they originally said they were moving to, and now they are. What do you know? Talking to Netflix, and they're on the radio. Yeah, media. She's just going to take him into media, and off he goes.
More power to Meghan Markle.
I have to say, it was really nice hearing them.
Yeah,
They're quite a nice.
Yeah, it's really dope to see that. You know, giving what they know about the world and what they've seen and what they've
But to hear the
experienced.
difference, the American girl with the very, very English boy.
Because she said, "Go ahead with your accent. It's much better."
So clearly that's a thing. I mean, I heard that and thought, yeah, you probably say to him all the time, say this, say that, because she just thinks it's lovely.
Big deal. Wow.
Yella Home with Anna Schofield and Big Hass.
Okay, Anna. Shout out to Christina. You know,
I love it when
if
Hass
Christina's
talks to me.
tuning in right here, you know, Christina. You know,
Are you really going to do this?
Yeah.
I'm going to take over. Christina, he does
Christina.
the most amazing impression of you.
No, I don't.
No, he does. He does.
I wasn't gonna say that.
What?
She'd be like, "What do you do of me right now?"
There it is. It's so fun. It's so brilliant. So and it comes about from having real conversations. I'm really like, what did Christina say? And then he will say it as you say it, Christina.
Good heart. Christina, our
He's so
marketing
good.
manager right here at Pulse 95 Radio. Speaking of marketing, Saturday Vibe, you see the tie right there.
Very good.
So good at
Very
what,
good.
what I do.
So 6 till 7 on Saturday evening, they foolishly allow Big Hass to have an hour to himself. And yeah.
Good job,
fools,
Haas. Good
fools.
job. Don't worry about the haters, man. Let's go.
So he invites everyone to audition for him, do some crazy stuff. You can sing, you can dance, you can properly X Factor it up.
Can I comment on that? Because you've been saying the dance thing for a while now.
Who's
And-
done the dancing?
No, people,
one's done the
people
dancing.
called in the other week. I remember. It's like, yo, your co-host said we can dance. How can we dance?
I hope you let them dance, because you said on air that it's okay to dance.
How can we dance?
They got to film it and send it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's do that. It's
You've got
basically
the whole
guessing
website thing.
guessing the movie.
Yeah.
How can we dance and figure it out
They
on the
can
spot?
do-
It's a live show.
You play a song, they dance, film it, send it in. Then
That's
they
nice.
can win a G-Shock watch or something.
Let's do that next time.
Good.
I like that. Okay.
Because we definitely have said, and when I've been saying
Yeah.
dancing, you said yes.
Did I say yes?
There's a
It's my fault
contract,
then.
an
Cool.
audio contract.
Okay, cool. But this week, Anna, tell us about sponsors of this week.
Okay, well, there's 3. There's always 3, which is really amazing.
I'm going to tell you the first one.
go on
Sorry.
then.
I like you know.
Jumping in.
Yeah, jumping in. Shurug. Shout out to Shurug.
Yeah.
You know, of course, these guys been showing love and showing incredible, vibe. What's happening is that Shurug is actually throwing in 500 dirhams voucher, but this voucher includes more than one thing, Anna. It includes, let me see right here.
Vouchers for everything.
Yeah, no. It's more than one thing. Yeah, I want to
One
make
more.
sure. It's a meal voucher at Shebabik restaurant,
Yep.
and the meal voucher is worth 250 dirham, which
Okay.
is a really cool thing. And Shebabik is that incredible Middle Eastern, it's a Lebanese restaurant, but incredible. I've been there. Amazing food.
Amazing.
So good. And also, in addition to that, it's a day tour tickets for 2 people at City Sightseeing Sharjah.
Ah, yes.
Which
That's
is really
great,
incredible. They show you the Emirates of Sharjah, everything. And that's all in one voucher, which is amazing.
See, I told you, vouchers for everything. And then you have G-Shock and Baby G. Big fans of these guys, and Hass is an ambassador, so there's a lovely personal link too. So he knows what he's giving away when he's able to give it to you. So if you want a Baby G or a G-Shock watch, he's got some for you.
100%. Also, last but not least, we got a food and beverage voucher worth 500 dirhams. It's to spend at Zad Food Truck Park in Al Madar Al Jada, Sharjah. Beautiful space. This food truck park has 24 outlets, Anna.
I love a food truck. I'm
Yeah, and they
super
have
fan.
everything from donuts to sushi to pasta, seafood, Emirati snacks, the whole big deal.
Wowzers,
Just so
yummy.
good. All you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, is tune in 6 to 7 p.m. Usually we start the show at 6 p.m. with an incredible song, and then you message in, and then I call you, and then we can dance, we can vibe. You got to guess the name of the movie. Anna yesterday failed with 2, I think.
I did, yeah. It's quite hard, guys. It's quite hard. He
Yeah.
doesn't pull punches on
You got to
that.
guess the name of the movie. You can sing for us, and you can guess a riddle for us. A lot of people, just before the news, I just want to say that big up to everybody that's been tuning in. We're approaching, obviously, week 11. And what's amazing is that a lot of taxi drivers are calling in.
I love
Sharjah taxi.
that.
And I love that.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah.
And I keep telling them, Dan, don't change the channel. Everyone that rides with you, tell them there's 95 FM.
So good.
95 FM. So it's really good for us. God bless everybody. We will be right back after this headline. Keep it locked right here, Pulse 95 Radio.
Yellow Home with Anna Schofield and Big House.
Music's greatest songs. Worth covering. Original classic hitmakers.
Are you ready, Hass?
Already.
You ready? Woo! Let's do it. It's the Pet Shop Boys, and I'm sure even if you weren't around in the 80s, and let's face it, we're going back to the 80s, you will know this song. And you may even know the Pet Shop Boys. Let me tell you about them. We have actually covered the song they did with Dusty Springfield in the Music Greats, but what I did was I concentrated more on Dusty and the angle of them getting her back. Lovely, lovely story. So that you know, just to recap, the first chapter of the Pet Shop Boys on the Music Greats, they had this song Forever and Ever, What Have I Done to Deserve This? And they wanted Dusty Springfield to perform on it. Nobody could find at the time, this is the late 80s, Dusty Springfield. She was gone. She's one of those artists that actually the mad business had caught her, and all the good things that you get offered when you're in the music industry and as an actor and as an A-lister and all those things had got to her, and she'd gone down that slippery slope. So she was found eventually, but it took 2 years. The management and their record label put every other singer in front of them for What Have I Done to Deserve This, including like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. They threw the book at it. They were like, there are so many big iconic singers, and they were like, no, we want Dusty Springfield, and they would not do it. And then one day Dusty Springfield's manager finally rang them and went, we hear you're looking for Dusty, and they were like, yeah, and this is the song we want her for. She flew to England. They were told she couldn't sing anymore. They were told that she was difficult to work with, blah, blah, blah. They turned around and said none of it was true. She was absolutely immense, and it started a friendship between them that went on for a good decade. It's like 10 years plus. It resurged her career, and she then released a song called In Private, which was produced by them. So that's the story of them resurrecting Dusty Springfield's career, but that's not what we're talking about today. Pet Shop Boys were so around in the 90s. I mean, they're part of my history. Like, I feel they're part of me growing up. Really, really interesting story. So you've got two of them. They're classed as an English synth pop duo. It just doesn't really do them justice, for me anyway. You've got Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe. Now, Neil Tennant at the time was the deputy editor of Smash Hits magazine.
What?
In the 80s. Yeah. Do you remember Smash Hits and all that jazz?
Yeah.
Right. So, very clever guy. He's in a music shop in the back of Chelsea.
Okay.
And he's buying a synthesizer.
Nice.
And this guy next to him is like, oh, you're going to go with this particular
brand
model, whatever it was. And it started up a conversation. That guy turned out to be Chris Lowe.
You're kidding.
So Neil and Chris had a chat in the shop. They exchanged numbers, realised that they were into all the same music.
That's incredible.
Chris knew this, and that's how they began. Then they went over to Neil Tennant's flat in Chelsea. And that says a lot. I mean, to have a flat in Chelsea, you got to have money, baby.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Chelsea, yeah. Kings Road, darling.
Chelsea, okay.
Chelsea. And so they went to his flat there, and they started writing songs together. They both wrote the song that I'm going to play, which is It's a Sin. So you've got two songs that they had smashes with, and I mean proper smash the planet #1 in every country going kind of a thing. It's West End Girls, and this one, It's a Sin.
What's your favorite out of them? It's West End?
I suppose this one. I remember my mum loving it. This is an anthem. My mum loved it. Mum absolutely loved this. Now, the story behind the song. Do you want the story behind the song?
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you want the story of the Pet Shop Boys first?
Pet Shop Boys.
All right. Let's continue with the boys. So they start making music. And then it's just a really funny way that it all sort of happened. Neil Tennant is obviously working for Smash Hits magazine. He has to go over to New York to go and interview someone for the magazine, at which point he then got hold of the manager of this person and ended up being able to go in and go, I've got these songs. Gave him the demo.
Wow.
The guy liked it. Bada boom, bada bing. And then they ended up signing a record deal, and off they went. But they got the record deal before he left his job as deputy editor
Really?
at Smash Hits. Yeah, how weird.
Mad.
So all those people that worked with him then were obviously a few months later going, oh, he's on TV, he's in a music video. Look, it's our editor, Neil. Very, very weird. And then they continued. They've always been friends. You know, they're not one of those bands who row and fall out, and there's none of that. They were cool, and they worked together well, and they write everything as a duo. Chris never liked being in the videos as much as Neil did. Neil liked being in the videos, and you'll see that if you ever watch a video to any of these big tunes.
Yeah.
You know, Chris Lowe keeps it on the down low, whereas Neil Tennant's like, okay, let me sing to you. He's much more into it.
Yeah.
And they've had, lots of wonderful success. They covered a David Bowie song, and then when they did that, David Bowie was on tour, and they went and did a thing with David Bowie on stage.
Wow.
and lots of collaborations. They're the kind of artists as well that other artists like.
Truth.
And so there has been lots of collaborations. People like them to work on stuff. And the as far as the fashion and the hair goes, I mean, you're flicking through photos now. I kind of remember all this stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're very different. Neil Tennant was all about the tie and the suit and the Smash Hits editor, and that I've been to school and I'm very well educated. Chris Lowe is all about that cap and I'm a musician, don't you know it, and I've got a leather jacket on. And, so they're very different, but they also went through all these different phases of their life. There's even one stage where Neil Tennant said, you know, at one point we tried a hip-hop angle.
Wow.
But in the end, this particular album, and I feel like that was in the early noughties, they decided they would experiment with hip-hop. I'd love to have heard that. And in the end, they didn't. They stripped back the tunes, and the album that came out was an acoustic album.
Yeah, that suits them.
Yeah, it does suit
they
them.
did,
Yeah. And they did a whole disco range, and they love a big kind of iconic diva. They love nothing more than a big iconic diva to do a tune with, which is always super fun. Let's talk about this song, because this song is a big song.
It is.
So they write it, and it is the lead single from their second album, released 15th of June 1987, but then had a resurgence sort of a year later. So you'd be forgiven if you're going, really, 87? I'm sure it was later. It kind of was as well. It spent 3 weeks at the top of the charts in the UK at number 1, and then topped the charts in Austria, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Ireland, Norway, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland.
Wow.
Number 9 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Just huge. It had been written in like 1980, 81, and there was a demo of Bobby Orlando doing it, apparently. But anyway, this version of Bobby Orlando doing it is a version of the song. What the Pet Shop Boys then eventually ended up releasing in 1987 was this massive, dramatic, all bells and whistles, full orchestra, we are going hard or going home kind of song. And that was very them, because they loved the drama. But then it's Neil Tennant that's bringing that to the sound. Yeah. Except that he's the one standing there in a jacket and tie. So it was always this dichotomy that was quite amusing. So listening to Tennant describing some of the impressions he got from the song and what happened at the time, they were writing it. A lot of the words come from his schooling. He went to St Cuthbert's High School in Newcastle upon Tyne. Very religious school. His first words are, at school they taught me how to be so pure in thought and word and deed, and they didn't quite succeed. While he was at school, he was made to feel that everything he thought and did was wrong. Yeah. And that's what he put into the song. When the song was released, publicity went hard on this, and oh my goodness, he's so damaged by his schooling, and he always felt that he was this, that and the other, and he said, it's not true at all. It took me 15 minutes to write the song, and I would just happen to think about something at one point, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to put this down. And he said, I also intended it as a joke. I just thought this was great. I'm going to write it down. It was drama for drama's sake. I wasn't conscientiously looking to sort of vent some inner pain. He said, I just thought it was quite funny, really. And then, of course, the locals delivered apparently a sermon on it, and that reflected various things, and then it started having all kinds of connotations. Wow. There's lots of press around that. But because there's also a little bit written in Latin that you can hear in the back, and there's all that kind of stuff going on.
Interesting.
But they wanted to make it a massive drama. They wanted it to have a dance beat, then they wanted an orchestra on it as well, and they wanted the whole furor of let's go.
It is definitely there.
Massive.
It's an anthem.
Yeah, it is an anthem, isn't it? And it's had loads of mixes.
Truth.
Yeah, so big controversy, lots of mixes, an amazing music video. I watched it this morning, and a number of people have covered this song. Lots of people have had a go at it because it's just such a fun song. But never do they do it as well as this. So join me for the ride of this song.
Yella Home
With Anna Schofield.
and Big House.
And here we are live through till 8 o'clock, driving you home across the Emirates in the gorgeous weather. Let's talk about how amazing the UAE is.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, Anna. The UAE ranks higher on gender equality in 2020 UN Index, which
Yeah.
is a big deal.
It's huge. And we have two levels of rankings. So we are 18th for gender equality overall. Okay, overall.
Yeah, 18th for gender equality and 31st for overall human development.
For overall
Which is
human
interesting.
development. That is.
So 18th on the gender equality in the world, and then 31st on the human development. That's
but
crazy.
we rank first in the Arab world.
Yeah.
So we're 18th globally and first in the Arab world.
Yeah. Makes total sense
It
to
makes
me.
total
Yeah,
sense.
100%.
Yeah.
I think they're, the way we do it here, it's been incredible. Just to see, especially the sisters out there, and how, I've always said it and I'll say it again. I really don't differentiate when it comes to talent and skills. The gender never plays a role with me.
No.
And some people are they get really
Yeah.
they get really offended maybe by that, but it has nothing to do with that. Like for me, a singer or a rapper is good based on their
The
skills.
singing and the rapping.
Not she's like, he's good for a boy, she's bad for a female, she's
Yeah.
good for none of that. Because I want to hear something good. It don't matter like who's doing it. I don't care.
And I agree with, I think it's a bit easier in terms of singing. Like, I don't think people would go, she's good for a girl, because we all know there are amazing female singers out there. But I bet in the corporate world, there's some areas where the males dominate more, and you get a female in there, and that's where suddenly everyone goes, it's good for a woman, isn't it? And no one...
I heard a lot of sisters out there saying that sometimes that they're the only girl in the boardroom. And that makes me feel like, to be honest with you, that makes me feel really like bad. When they say that, and they're like, you're surrounded by the people
Men.
who wear the suits, and like they're looking down, and what can a girl do? Like what's wrong with you? No, seriously, it gets really frustrating, because like, what are you talking about? Like the mind, regardless of whether men or women, that's what you should focus on. So not every man that walks in your office is great, and not every man is also bad. And the same thing goes for the sisters out there.
Sure.
I just it's a tricky topic to talk about. But I do
think it's changing.
it is.
It's gradually changing, and because it's talked about all the time, I think there's much more acceptance, and certainly generations now don't think twice about there being a female or a male kind of disparity. So it's nice to hear that, but the thing is, with the UAE, the Arab world is accused of all sorts in terms of females, which is the thing that drives you the most crazy. And
Especially where I come from, to be honest, like Saudi Arabia as well. Like, I swear to God, you guys, if you go to Saudi Arabia now and even before, and you meet my friends, my family, the sisters, the women, you'll be like, wow. You don't want to mess with them. I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of strength and a lot of dignity and a lot of class. And you're right. Our voice has always been told for us, and our stories are always been told for us.
Well, it's just different ways of life, isn't it? And women, there's a different lifestyle for ladies living in that part of the world. I think is the best way to describe it. And it's something that I think sometimes you get mud thrown at you because there's a lack of understanding. And that's what I've learned being here. Come and talk to me then. And in the UK, I'm a bit like that. And I will have friends who are like, but this, come on, talk to me and throw it out there. And let me tell you exactly my life in the last 10 years, where I am not inhibited. I am not held back in any shape or form. I'm on the radio and work for Sharjah Broadcasting Authority. I'm on air with a guy from Saudi Arabia. So don't come at me with this stuff that you hear from the Mail on Sunday. It's not...
100%. And I love that. So obviously the UAE has become a role model in the Arab region, and across this region for policies supporting gender balance. I think that's the word I need to also use more. Like the gender, we need to always be balanced. Like have that balance.
You're right.
And the big question is, a lot of people will talk like, can men and women like really like it's the equality, right? Can they be equal? Yes, I do think that it's a lot of people disagree actually.
Well, I don't know whether equal is the right word. Can we work together in harmony
100%.
and bring what we need to bring, the skill sets, without anyone being a weakened form? I think we can.
True, but remember we talk a lot about the pay, about the sisters out there in the sports world, for example.
Yeah.
The number one, sports like
And
tennis
in
player and
television film.
or television, and even it's way less.
Way less.
Now, why is that? And that's the big topic.
Well, because I think those industries are run by men.
Yeah, see,
but that's changing too. Men are paying men, but it's changing. I mean, I don't know how many football managers there are that are out there that are female.
Yeah, see, I don't even know why this is even a discussion. You pay somebody based on their job.
Yeah, on the skill set.
Not how they look like and what they do and what they are as a gender, period. And
Gender,
if you do
colour
that...
of skin, none of it applies.
Exactly, none of that.
Yellow Home
With Anna Schofield.
and Big House.
And we're here right through till 8 o'clock, coming up to quarter to 8. Hope you're having a good one, good drive home, all that jazz. Let's very quickly talk about this.
100% Anna Schofield. Let's talk about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, let's talk about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, tell me what he did.
He had a massive rant. So here's the scene. At the beginning of lockdown and the beginning of the pandemic, his movie, Mission Impossible, got shut down.
Yeah.
So, everyone's very devastated, but they completely understood. And it got shut down because of COVID-19 scares, and everyone was obviously in lockdown. They started filming again in London recently at the beginning of December. Very, very excited. There are stipulations, there are COVID rules, there are masks needed to be, social distancing, blah, blah, blah. And lots of actors have talked about it. They've started filming on things, and the Batman movie's going on in the Midlands in the UK as well, and they've had to do all the social distancing. Anyway, Tom lost it.
Yeah, good for him.
He lost his cool.
Good for him. I mean, we can't play the whole thing on radio because it's really not radio friendly. But he's like, I'm on the phone with every studio at night, insurance companies, producers, and they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. Do you understand the responsibility that you have? Because I will deal with your reason. And if you can't be responsible or reasonable and I can't deal with your logic, you're fired. And he actually goes on and says, do you know how many families we're taking care of?
Yeah.
It's been a tough year and all that. He went all crazy, which I love that about him because, to be honest with you, remember I told you half of the UK rappers are here?
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get. Like, hey, man, what's going to happen? And then, you get COVID and then you're stuck 3 weeks, 4 weeks without a job, with no money.
Yeah.
And then you get like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he had enough from that.
Because if they get shut down filming, that's everyone. It's all the electricians, it's all the cameramen, it's all the sound people, and it's the editors, and that's what he meant, and I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I really loved when I heard that this morning. Obviously Mission Impossible is one of the biggest franchises in Hollywood, Anna. 2018's Mission Impossible, over 791 million worldwide box office, the first one.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because he's done a lot of stuff. Like, he likes to play the man, he likes to do his own stunts, he's very alpha, Tom Cruise. He wants to be looked at, even though he's quite a small human being. He always wants to be seen as this kind of... No, he is though.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Yeah,
but
I hear you.
The one thing that he shouted was, how many families we're looking after. That makes me attracted to him far more than any other stunt that he's pulled.
Even The Rock's.
Okay, don't get me on The Rock. The Rock is just...
Done, easy
I didn't
fix.
say any other person. I said any other stunt that Tom Cruise has done. But then you've thrown me off now with The Rock. Now I'm just like blinded by the light.
Oh, man, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a conspiracy going on.
What, with The Rock?
Yes.
It's no conspiracy.
Anna Schofield, what have you been doing?
I wish. I mean, what?
Look at her.
The Rock.
Oh my God. Okay, I think we need to end right now because when she gets like that, it's over.
Who's your dreamy dream? Who makes you go kind of weak at the knees?
My one and only.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, who else that's in the limelight?
No, seriously, I think it's my one and only.
Of course.
Hands down.
No, I know this.
Who did I have a crush on early on? I think it was
Help me out.
It was Mila Kunis, and there was what's her name?
Not Selena Gomez.
No.
Good.
Oh my God.
There is one that you've said to me.
Yeah.
The one with the lips.
Well, okay, we're
Scarlett
good.
Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
You love
I
her,
think she's
don't
an
you?
incredible, actress as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it's her acting ability for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, her skill set on screen is amazing.
Help me out, guys. Yeah.
It's all
So what
about
are you
her
up to right
acting.
now? What are you going to do?
Well, once I can get the rock out of my mind.
Yeah, great. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm just going to go home and chill tonight. It's Thursday tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Nice.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, man, what are we doing? I think we're just also chilling,
Yeah, nice.
And the interesting part is I haven't had takeaway in terms of burgers, pizza in the past 2 years. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is.
I'm
Well
proud
done.
of myself.
You
I'm just
should
saying.
be.
I'm like tapping myself on the back here.
Incredible.
We were talking about it the other day. Like, we used to have easy 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
Like takeaways.
Right.
Burgers, pizzas. Now, for the past 2 years, I haven't had any.
Amazing. And is Hanan liking it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we're pushing each other.
Yeah.
And like, we're
So
like.
when one starts to get weak, the other one's like, no.
Yeah, but we're not even getting weak, to be honest.
Aren't you?
Like, that's the crazy part. We're driving past by it and we'll be like, what's up? How you doing? Go.
Keep going. Keep driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really incredible.
If you liked this episode of Yalla Home, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.